All right, welcome back to another episode of the Small Guys Podcast. Today we are reviewing The Flash. We review movies a little differently than other podcasts. We kind of walk through the movie kind of in order. We try not to jump straight to the end. At the end of this review, because there's a lot of drama with this movie outside of the movie, so we'll kind of talk about it, how the box office is doing and everything like that. So let's get into it. Barry Allen uses super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future. This movie has a 66 critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. 2 hours, 24 minutes. What did you guys think?
Wait, save the future or his future?
Both.
Or his
It
dad's
says
future?
both in parentheses.
Oh, nice.
In all caps.
Yeah, it was definitely a movie.
That's gonna.
Yeah.
By the way, that's our signature quote via Brian, meaning this movie was bad.
Yeah.
I just went
It
and
wasn't
saw
bad.
this
It wasn't
today.
bad.
I'll rip off right
go ahead.
here. I went and saw this today. These guys went and saw it a couple of days ago, as of recording this on a Tuesday. I was surprised there was actually a good amount of people in the theater, and I didn't care for it. This was the first movie in a while that I had to pee halfway through, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna get up
That
and go."
sucks.
What part did you get
Because
The baby scene.
Wow, you just saw
Yeah.
it.
right after the battle in the desert kind of thing.
It's like the end.
Yeah,
Or wait, no,
Kind
no.
of the only good part of the movie.
No, it wasn't that part. Is there a fight scene
When they're in
right
Russia?
when they
In
yes,
Russia?
yes, sorry. It was right
Oh, that's
after
kind of a cool
Russia.
scene.
Right before they
It
get
was right
Superwoman.
after that. I was like, all right, this will probably be a dull moment. I'm not going to miss anything. So yeah, personally, right off rip, I mean, we'll kind of walk through the movie like Josh said, but I didn't fall for the hype. Maybe I'm falling off the superhero train.
No, so the problem with The Flash is that I didn't even want to see this movie to begin with. I haven't seen any of the TV show Flash. I slept through the entirety of the Snyder Cut Justice League film. I've never seen any of those like DCEU movies, and I went to go see this because we have a podcast. I showed up late.
You saw Black Adam,
I expected the absolute worst of this movie, but with all those celebrities and like
Cameos.
I guess you could say authors like Stephen King, for example, was like pushing this movie to the fucking moon. Like they're like best superhero movie. James Gunn was saying everything about it, like, you know, one of the best superhero movies he's ever seen, which is Cat, because that's some bullshit. And then I mean, I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was funny. I honestly think that the thing that saved this movie was how funny it was, and there were parts that were like hilarious. But then
I'll
other than
disagree
that,
with you.
CGI was shit. And a lot of people, I was watching a few YouTube videos today, and I guess they saw it at some Comic-Con thing. They got the
Cans.
full movie, like, yeah, they saw it. And they thought that final scene, that I won't mention, but they thought that it was like a rough cut. So we're like, oh, like once they finish it, it's going to look badass, it's going to look sick. Then they went to see it opening night. Like, what the fuck is the exact same? And I mean, they were all shocked. And honestly,
that's a great point. That's a horrible sign. If you go to see a movie and you think, "Oh, this must be like
an early
they have
screening too.
It's kind of like a video game. When nowadays we get the beta, you're kind of like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I really hope that's." But no, that's the game. That's what you're getting. Like
they
maybe
polish it.
they're not going to polish probably much, and that's probably what maybe they thought with this. Like, oh, you know,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
this is just a beta movie. Nah, that was the final thing. That's what you got. That's what we all saw.
Yeah, I mean, like Aiden said, the idea of how many people were pushing it and saying that it was such a good movie. I think me and Josh had the conversation. I don't know if I told you guys, but I went into it and I was like, this has me worried. Like, there's no need for Stephen King to be tweeting that this is a good fucking movie. Like, somebody is paying these people to say this shit because this movie, at one point, someone said was fucking better than The Dark Knight. Like, oh, we're finally getting a DC movie to take the mantle. No, somebody is high as hell paying these people to say that shit. Like, no shot.
So some guy on YouTube made a note that the director of this movie, Andre Muschietti, he also did
Andy.
It. So
Andy
yeah,
Machete,
he did it. So all
Sure,
Stephen
yeah.
King loves that fucking guy. That's the most money Stephen King's ever made in his life is off those 2 movies alone. So
Yeah.
that's why Stephen King pushed the shit out of this movie. Like, go see it.
That's a
Well,
good
and
friend,
before this
but
movie
holy
came
fuck.
out-
Yeah, it's a good friend, but he's a
Before
bullshit.
this movie came out, Andy got announced to be directing the new Batman, Brave and the Bold. So
Yeah.
I think they kind of.
Does
We'll
that
talk
Yeah,
work?
we'll talk
when
about that
we-
at the end, but like
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little premature to. They always do this. I mean, the same thing happened with what's his name, Brian, the guy that does the I should know his name, the guy that did the Knives Out movies, that
Ryan
had Star
Johnson?
Wars.
Ryan
Yeah.
Johnson,
Yeah, Ryan Johnson. Yeah, they're like, we're gonna give him a whole, Star Wars trilogy, then so or even the people with Game of Thrones, right? Like D&D, those guys were supposed to get a Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah.
But like it's just so premature. You should just wait till. I know they got to get a director as quickly as possible. But it's like you kind of should wait to see how the product turns out. I feel like for making
Yeah.
a judgment call like that. But Mike,
So-
I think me and you. I want to just say it before you start going. Me and you have seen probably the most of the Flash CW. I know we watched like the Flashpoint Paradox movie, which is far better than this. I think Andrew's watched some of the Flash. I'm not sure if Brian has. I know Aiden hasn't.
Josh,
Yeah,
you
I
started
saw
with
the
the
show.
Arrowverse, bro. Don't you cut me out like that.
Yeah, but
We
how
were-
much have you seen?
We
of
were
the Flash?
calling
Yeah.
each
How
other
many
each
seasons
week
would you
with
say?
our feet in the air. We watched till 3 together.
No, I
And
went
then
farther than 3.
Well, yeah, but I got a job, and I was like, I'm not
Did you have
fucking
clothes on?
rushing home to fucking watch
I'm not a
the Flash.
CW guy anymore.
Yeah,
so-
CW at.
So, Mike, I know you got up at the end of the movie and you stomped out. You're like, "Where's Grant Gustin?" And I was like, "Hey, calm down."
I don't know,
No,
we're all
but,
trying to
uh,
be fucking cool.
So I
Fuck
mean,
him.
Yeah, go
anybody
ahead.
Throwing a
listening to
tantrum.
this, knows by now that Grant Gustin wasn't in the movie, and to me, that's like by far the absolute biggest miss this movie has, because you can't have Ezra Miller come up in Crisis on a fucking TV show, like a B list, B tier, whatever you want to call Ezra Miller, like whatever list he is. You can't have him show up on the CW fucking network and not put Grant Gustin's Flash.
So Ezra
And-
Miller was in
in the
the
movie.
Flash TV show.
Yeah, he was in
He
like
was
Like the
Flash.
newest episode, or
Is that what
like
the finale
early in the
was?
season?
it was when Crisis on Infinite Earths came out.
Yeah.
It's like DC's pretty much Infinity Saga. I think it's a better storyline, but that's just me. But
He just pops up as the Flash.
yeah, he just popped up as like a cool little cameo. Him and like the CW Flash were like looking at each other like Barry, like they're going back and forth like Spider-Man, like pretty much.
Nice.
It was cool.
Well,
it was super cool.
And we'll talk about all the cameos because there's a lot at kind of near the end. But Mike, did you see when they did the Jay Garrick Flash? Like when they showed him the Golden Age one really quick?
I saw
Zoom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
saw
was the
that.
guy that played Zoom
Yeah.
from the CW show. So how are you gonna have him in there but not Grant Gustin?
Yeah, this makes
I don't know. I
goddamn
couldn't believe it.
sense.
So
It's
Yeah,
just
so-
it blows my mind. Like that is literally the biggest thing. Like that's even a bigger miss compared to the CGI. Like I'm sorry, like that's just awful. That, like you just do not do that after what happened with Crisis when Ezra Miller showed up. Like it just blows my mind.
yeah,
But but I mean for the most part though, like that's the biggest grief I have with this movie. The second thing is, I mean, I'm sure they probably saved it because the show hit so much on it, but Reverse Flash, they didn't really show like what happened and how his mom actually died.
Yeah.
So
I didn't like that. I didn't like
but
that
there's a
one
re-
bit.
There's a
it's kind
reason
of like
why.
a cliffhanger, but
Well, no,
the whole
there's-
premise of this movie is that this is the end of like the era that we're seeing, and now James Gunn's gonna take reign. He's gonna like switch everything up. So we're never gonna see like Ezra Miller again, right?
Hey, do you know what Flashpoint is?
probably not.
No.
Okay, then shut up.
No. I mean, so Aiden,
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
has
yeah,
nothing to
no.
do with what I just
Yeah,
said.
what the fuck
No.
are you even talking about? Because Flashpoint resolves with him realizing he's a fucking idiot and resets everything back to order.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
so
if I
what
saw it or
happened
not.
at the end of the
I'm
movie?
saying we're never gonna see Ezra Miller again. He's not gonna play the
no,
Flash.
probably not. No,
Yeah.
well, that's why there's something. Yeah, there's
They're
something
not
later on
gonna
I
play
want
Flash.
to talk to you about. But yeah, no, I mean, like, so we've seen Flashpoint. They've done it on the CW. We've seen the Flashpoint Paradox, which I mentioned, the animated movie. We've seen they've done it in the comics, obviously, and then they did it in this movie, their own version of it. And there's
Yeah.
aspects in the movie that kind of relate to from the comics and stuff like that of Flashpoint. But the way they did it in this movie, I wasn't a huge fan of most of the aspects. So we can kind of talk
really,
about the.
Really
Go
quick, I want to talk about the parallel between the movie and the Flashpoint paradox with Superman and Supergirl both being locked up and
Scrawny and everything.
yeah, scrawny and
no sun
everything.
and
That's the first thing I thought of when I seen Supergirl come out of the Russian lab, whatever you want to call it.
That's what I thought too.
That's a different Supergirl than the TV show, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
CW,
that's Melissa
okay.
Benoist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I never saw that.
Yeah. No, that show wasn't good.
I kind of
Sorry,
like
Mike.
the first couple
So the rest
episodes.
of them.
Or first couple
Like,
seasons.
That shit was ass, Michael, and you know it.
I
No,
think,
bro.
yeah.
I like the first couple. No. While I'm
All
at
those
this,
CW shows were dog water. All
Legends
of
with,
them.
no.
I'm with
Arrow,
Brian.
Arrow and Flash
Arrow
were
They had good
started
seasons.
strong and then got
Flash
fucking
was
terrible.
Flash was ass from like season 4 and on. Legends of Tomorrow was
Flash.
actually really good. And then what else is there?
What was
the rest
there's
of
Black
Supergirl's,
Lightning, right, or something?
That was all right.
I don't
was
even know if
alright.
that's CW.
Those were
That's
so
okay.
ass. Arrow was like, we're running out of ideas. Quick, introduce the Lazarus pig, and now fucking everyone's coming back to life. Like, fuck out of here. That was terrible.
I mean, we're gonna see that with the MCU fucking coming up here soon. And
Again,
you're out of
I
storylines.
think I'm jumping ship, dude. I think I'm over all this bullshit.
So, Brian, that's actually how I kind of walked out of this movie. Like, for the first time, I feel like it's got to be mentioned since Endgame, like, everyone's kind of been trickling off of superhero movies.
Yeah.
And, like, you've been losing people along the way. And, like, this one was one where I really walked out and was like, man, I don't know if this is for me anymore. Like, I'm not finding the enjoyment I used to.
Yeah.
Guardians was good.
Guys,
Guardians,
we're on
like,
Spider-Verse and Guardians. Like, we've
Again,
got good movies
all
this
I'm
year.
saying, like, I was
So-
literally about to say, give me the next Spider-Verse. Give me the next
yeah, that was
Batman.
different, though. That
Give
was
me
something
Deadpool
different.
3.
These
Those
are
like
superhero
the-
movies.
Yeah, those are
Like,
what I'm saying.
What
Those
about
are the
Avengers? You wanna go
only-
see
But those are
Avengers?
three of the
No, I
only
know.
superhero movies that are coming out. Like,
That's
Yeah.
all I
you
fucking
just
want.
listed all the
dude.
superhero movies coming out.
Dude, you fucking know the calendar. I'm sure you have
You're
it written
gonna go
down
see the
somewhere.
Marvels 10 times. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
you
I
Go
will.
see the
won't.
Marvels.
I
So,
won't.
I-
You will.
These movies, they have such like a predictable like moment. Like they look to Batman and are like, "Are you gonna join us?" It's like, of course that motherfucker's gonna join you. Like I'm just sitting there like, "Oh, what's he gonna do? Say no a second time? That would actually be funny."
I want him to switch it up.
He just goes and lays down. Now
No.
that I would laugh
Yeah,
at.
he's old as fuck. You might as well just go fucking take your teeth out.
Well, dude, it's like
Pasta and fucking go to
it's
sleep.
the same thing as like a scary movie, like a Scream. Like there's gonna be a killer. Like it's a genre for a reason. Like there's always gonna be the same type of concept, and there's only a certain amount of ways you can tell an actual story. You know that.
Yeah, but I think what I have to say is, if you tell the cookie cutter story, at least make like the other aspects of it good. Maybe make the CGI good or the acting good. This was a fail on all parts. This movie was
So I will give this
bad,
movie
in my
to
opinion.
Ezra Miller because they played the Flash well. They honestly
Which
two
one?
of them. It honestly it felt like two different people,
It did.
and that's what I
did.
enjoyed
Yeah.
about this movie.
It
I
did.
thought he.
Some
Yeah, I
might
like
say
that. I thought they did
three
a good
different
job.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what?
Okay, so let's talk about the beginning of the movie
because
because I want to know if you guys
the,
liked it. Yeah,
The one Flash that was
yeah.
stuck in time.
Futuristic
Yeah.
Future Berry.
futuristic first. Yeah.
Forgot about that one.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the beginning? I kind of fucked with it a little bit. I mean, I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was kind of cool.
The beginning was
I
fun.
liked how they
think
showed like how much he had to eat for his energy. I thought that was
Yeah.
like cool
Mhm.
the
It
way
was
they
funny.
had that.
Saving
Yeah.
the Babies was funny. Again, going into it with an empty
The
head
CGI baby
space.
shit was
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a little
Goofy.
much.
Bad.
Apparently, Andy Muschietti was talking about how like the CGI was bad on purpose for the babies because it's
yeah.
supposed
It's
to
a
be
good
through,
excuse. I
but it's
feel
supposed
like.
to
Yeah.
be through Barry Allen's eyes. So,
Don't you
I
think
mean,
that's a spin zone though, Mike? Because like there's points where
I'm
like
not
he goes to
agree-
the desert at
I'm
the end.
just, Don't shoot the messenger.
No,
I'm just
no, I-
stating
no,
the
I-
facts.
No, I saw that too, and I wanted to mention that there's a point where like the Flash goes to the desert at the end right before the big fight. He's not even moving fast, and the CGI looks like shit. So it's like I
Yeah.
threw that out the window. And it would be different if the CGI was just bad when he was in the Chrono Ball or Chrono Ball, whatever that's called, when he's going through time. But it's like bad, with, like we just mentioned with the babies, and there's other moments too. So,
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
the
I thought the
CGI
baby,
is
even the woman that
atrocious.
was falling looked bad.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean
The dog
again,
too. one of the funniest things is I swear if you rewatch the movie, the dog in the original scene, like when it's in slow mo and it's falling, is not even the same kind of dog that they put in live action on the ground.
I
It's
think
like a completely
you might be
different dog.
right.
It
Yeah.
is 100%. It's like a German Shepherd in the air, and it's like a little beagle
all right,
on the
I
ground.
just
I'm
saw
like,
that.
all right,
and
like,
I kind of felt like I did a double take, but I just like ignored it and was like, nah.
exactly. That's exactly how I felt in the theater. I'm like, I looked around. I'm like, am I the only one that noticed that?
What did you guys think of Batflick? That action scene. I thought that was cool.
It
was
did
awesome.
that one actually
That
kind of
was-
hurt because
that
I
was-
knew that was going to be the last time we see him suit up.
Yeah.
Because he did
The
finally
blue-
grow
the blue
on me.
suit.
Thanks to the fucking Snyder Cut version of Justice League, all of those people did grow on me. I will say that, but again, I didn't go into this with high hopes. But seeing him,
Well,
that's kind of like,
while we're
damn,
on
like
it-
we're not gonna get him anymore.
While we're on it too, Gal Gadot,
Yep.
Mhm.
she showed
Yeah, she
up
was
as
sick.
Wonder Woman.
Dude,
I was
that,
on-
was that like
honestly-
not
it was
even like
honestly-
10 seconds?
It was like the most pointless cameo ever. It was just the fact that she showed
I mean,
up.
she did it.
He
You should
shows
too,
up
also.
and stops the fucking poison from going in the water that would kill like 40% of the city
Yeah.
or something like that.
So I must have missed. I don't know if you guys want to fill me in, but I walked in the theater right when the babies were falling, and he's like going to the vending machine. So what happened before that part?
It was just
He's
him
talking-
going to get a
Why
fucking
is the
sandwich.
world like?
He was going
but
to
the
get a
world's just
sandwich and
like,
fucking.
is there an enemy out there that's like blowing up Gotham or whatever they're at?
It was Falcone's son was
Central-
stealing
Central
something
City.
from the fucking
A chemical.
hospital.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
biochemical.
And then-
yeah, so he was late to work and he stopped at a shop, looked like a Starbucks, to get a sandwich, and the guy was taking forever to make it, so he just went to Gotham really quick, helped Batman out, and they got back. But yeah, that's kind of that's
Is the
basically
Flash?
what
Is
he
that same like one of his characteristics like in the show too, where he's late everywhere, but he's literally the
Yeah.
fastest
Yes.
person
Yep.
alive?
Yeah.
It's
That
an
is an
ongoing.
aspect
It's,
of the
it's
show.
a
It's
very
His
Allen
characteristic.
trope.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude's never
It's a
on time.
canon event, if you will.
So I want to talk
Yes,
about this.
Ken.
really
I can
quick,
say
though.
me and him are similar.
They
In more
butchered.
aspects than one.
They butchered. Yeah. They butchered the romance between him and Iris West. I don't think they could have done a worse job with that, to be honest with you. I'll say that.
Is that the girl he went to school with?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his love interest in the show, comics, everything.
Yeah. And it's just
So-
like, I wanted to give it hope, man, but it's just like, dude, I get it's a big movie too, so I get like stuff like that suffers, but like for the most part though, like you gotta do a little bit more, especially that's
Yeah,
like
but in the show, you know, they're kind of like brother and sister in a way, and they like kiss.
They get married and have kids.
no.
What kind of shit is this?
I mean, you're not
Missing
wrong.
out, Aiden.
I guess.
No, it's
You're
like
not
that's
wrong.
like
Joe
Superman's
does
Lois
take him
Lane.
in.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
Mike,
messing.
I agree.
I got no
I think the
comment.
one part I liked with Iris, Mike, was the when they go back to his apartment right before he
Yeah.
actually like time travels again.
That's
Um,
funny.
But yeah, we can talk about the the first time he time travels. Like obviously in the show, I like the way they did it in like the CW show when he's running and sees the memories and stuff. Whereas in this, it's like it's the chrono ball. I think that's what they called it, and we can talk
That's
about it too. The CGI
fucking-
was. It looked like PS3 graphics or Xbox 360, like
But how is
old
he?
video game.
How like nothing happened in that point to make him run faster than he ever has.
He was just
And how come
feeling
he's just
down.
now
He knew
figuring
he
that
knew
out?
that his dad was going to jail for sure after he got
I know,
the video.
which is really stupid because in the CW show, I mean, there's like build up to that vent and there's emotion.
Again,
This
but
was
you
just
gotta-
like
you
he just
gotta
happened to.
remember, though,
I just.
the build up in the show, like the whole Flashpoint Paradox took an episode. That was the worst thing ever. They had 22 episodes, wasted it all in one.
And
or
they didn't do
two.
it till season 3.
Yeah, that was
man.
fucking cheeks, dude.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
And
Eric,
so-
Eric Wallace, bro, is a fucking criminal, bro. He fucked everything up about that show.
Did you see too? I think it was Alfred or someone, or maybe it was Batflick that says it. But basically, they made they talked about how Barry time traveled before, which makes the Snyderverse or the Zack Snyder Justice League canon, because he only does that in that movie, not in the Justice League. So I guess they're saying that the Zack
fuck is
Snyder
the
one was
Justice
the canon.
League?
The Josh.
Justice League with
Yeah.
Joss.
Well,
Joss's Justice League for
You gotta fill
2018.
us in on that, little bro.
Yeah.
We don't know what you're talking
Is that
about.
the Josh
you-
Justice
you-
League?
it's-
It's
I
Josh
heard everyone
it's
say
the
Smith.
guy that did
Batflick?
Age of
No.
Ultron.
I always
He
hear
did
you guys say
Ultron, that's why that
Batflick,
movie
and
sucked.
I think it's like a movie literally called Batflick, but it's Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah, that one
Listen,
makes sense.
Mike,
Keep
Mike,
going.
we're clearly talking to a bunch of Marvel
Batfleck?
fans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
Ben
are.
Affleck's Batman. Sorry, I'll say it all the way.
You know what's
No,
funny?
Okay,
it's,
well,
too?
that's
it's
what I'm
like
talking
Batflick.
I'm
That's what
currently-
It's
I
not
mean.
Christian Bale.
I'm currently playing Injustice 2, and I'm actually really liking it.
Yeah. That'd be a cool movie if they did that.
Oh,
Be honest,
Yeah,
you playing
so-
on easy
It'll
mode
never
or what?
happen.
Medium.
Let's kind of continue through the movie.
I want to mention one more scene I like right before we get to like the actual time travel. I got a point. No,
Okie
It's
dokie,
very
Josh.
beautiful to me.
and I think this is my favorite Ben Affleck Batman moment we've seen in all the movies. He's talking to Ben Affleck at the end, or what's his name? Bruce Wayne, technically, right? From his nice car. And he's like, do you want to go get something to eat? And Bruce is like, nah, not right now. And it's like, I feel like that moment kind of showed who like Bruce Wayne is. Like he's still like a loner, and he's like still like in his own, like he still doesn't like to get too close to people. Like I felt like that's like what Batman is. So I got to see like a glimpse of what it could be, right? So it's like, damn, like where was that? Like where's
that's
that?
a lot of the reason why like I'll text in the group chat like, do you guys want to get food? Because sometimes I'm feeling like Batman.
You just want to be Batman?
Yeah.
Nah, bro, you're that picture of Kenny choking himself up. That's you, Andrew.
Thanks, dude.
No, so I like that moment. I just want to mention that, but yeah, we can get to the part where like he time travels and fucks shit up. You know, he meets a second version of himself. He gets to see his parents again. What
Yeah, I
did you
think
guys
that
of
was good. I wasn't a fan of how he. I like how he meets him, his younger self, but I don't like how he gives him the powers. He's like, all right, you got to be here, you got to do that and this. Look like I feel like it's a canon event that he's gonna get his powers regardless, right?
Well, but it's an expedited timeline because.
Well, no, it's a different universe where like Aquaman doesn't even exist, and you know
Yeah.
Superman's gone, and Wonder Woman's nowhere
I thought
to
it
be
was all
found.
yet.
Well, no, it just him changing it like what's his name explains. Batman later on explains with the spaghetti. Like
Yeah.
no, he changed also the past and the future.
Yeah.
I really
So
like
your
that. I really
younger
like
Flash
that
was
scene.
never gonna be Flash.
No.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
No.
No, and that's
that
what
makes
they're
sense.
hinting at with the futuristic Future Barry that's inside the fucking Speed. What the fuck's he called? Speed Force.
Yeah, but they met him after he meets
Speed Force?
his younger
Speed
self.
Force.
Speed Force. But again, he tells him that he literally pushed him out at that point, so
Yeah, at
that
that
way
point.
he could get his powers because he wasn't supposed to get them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, that's Savitar in there, right?
I mean technically, but I don't know, not really, because Savitar in the comics is not even Barry Allen, but the CW
But-
show made it future Barry Allen, and then
they
this
made it
movie kind of took
Savitar?
aspects from that. Well,
They-
yeah,
they-
like. What do you mean?
Is he
like in the
is he
CW?
something in the comics or is Savitar completely
Yeah, in the
new?
comics, Savitar is the god of speed, but he's a different character. He's not Barry Allen. He's like a different guy.
Oh, so they kind of did the same iteration.
Yeah. So I think
Oh.
I think the movie took some stuff from the show, but
Million
not to say
percent.
it stole,
Not
but
the
anything.
not the best
They-
parts of it.
Not the
obviously.
best part.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I do want to mention too, like, because we're talking about, you know, the younger Barry getting his powers. It was kind of a cool way to do an origin story if you're not familiar with the Flash,
Well,
of showing him kind of learning his powers and stuff, but from a different character, and our Barry kind of explaining, you know, hey, when I was learning, I had to do this and this, like not wear these kind of clothes, you know, like stuff like that, or you get really hungry, or teach you how to face. I thought that was a cool way of doing an origin.
It was
story,
cool, but
actually.
it felt kind of like, you know, gosh, I can't think of the name of it. Star Wars. What's the 7th movie called?
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. It felt kind of like that in that way, where it's just like this newbie, just fucking here you go. Oh, you got it. You're the Flash now. You've been doing it for about 15 minutes. You've got
I mean,
everything
he's Barry
figured out.
Allen. I will
Well,
say
he
I
that.
fucks up
guess.
that one part. Remember, he goes
He
running
does,
and
yeah.
explosions and everything like that.
Blows
I
up
like
a ton of
that.
I,
stuff in
I
the
like
city.
that scene.
I
Yeah.
think it was cool too. This kind of ties in with our episode before this, where you get to see what happens to Peter after he finally leaves his corporate job. He ends up becoming
Office
the
Space.
dad of Barry Allen in this alternate reality.
That is
You know who his
pretty
dad?
crazy.
You know who his dad was before, right?
Who was his dad before?
The guy from Morning Show, whatever his name is, the executive guy that's really cool.
Oh,
like
they
the
really
best
just
character in
grabbed
that
them.
show.
They grabbed
Yeah,
them
he
both.
was the dad. Yeah, he was the dad. I think
I didn't
was
even
it
catch that.
Justice League? Yeah, he was the dad in the Justice
That's
League.
funny.
And then they recasted him because he was filming for season 3 of the Morning Show and couldn't do it, so they got Peter to do it instead.
I
Which
think
I thought was pretty funny.
I think they recasted him in Justice League, and someone showed up beforehand.
Okay.
Because
So he's been
Flash
he's got
Flash
a
showed
couple
up.
dads.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Flash showed up in what? movie before Justice League?
Batman vs Superman.
Well, he's in the
where he-
Suicide
some
Squad.
shit
Wasn't
was-
Batman
Yeah.
vs. Wasn't Batman vs
Yeah, he's been in a
Superman
few
where
things.
Bruce
I think
has
you
the
see his
dream
dad
and he
in
comes through the
Suicide Squad,
dream?
actually. And that's the different one compared to the one in Justice League. Whatever. He was
So,
recasted.
There's been a few different versions. I saw some people say that they wish that Arbery would have had more time with his parents, which I guess, but the movie's long enough. I feel like the time we got
Hey,
with them was
tell them
was
they
good
should
enough.
watch the fucking TV show and you'll fucking
Yeah.
see it.
Even then, that's not enough. The fucking
Yeah, and I'm not-
like,
I
That's
don't
the
recall-
point. I'm saying that's why it's never enough. It's just the way his character is.
it is
I don't
better in the
recall when
animated
they
one.
say it in the movie, but there's a point where Arbery kind of explains that he was there during the events of Man of Steel. Like he got the powers the next day or the day
Yeah.
before, when Zod came. I thought that was kind of cool too. How they showed like obviously he's had the power for a day, and he saves that kid. And I like how like he covered the kid's eyes so the kid didn't
I
have
like
to
how
see
in
like
this
the dad. I
version,
thought,
there's no Flash there to save the kid.
yeah, that kid died in this version.
Yeah,
Well, the whole universe.
Well, to be
Well-
fair, all the whole universe.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because I thought about that too, Andrew, during the movie. I'm like, is anyone gonna go save that kid?
So when we see that flashback of him in like that shitty outfit, like his starting
Yeah.
outfit, have you guys seen that scene before?
No, it's new to the movie.
No.
All right,
It's new to the movie.
I didn't know if it was in like Justice League or something.
No.
Fucking guy.
God, what a Marvel guy.
Gosh.
What a good,
What a nerd.
better movie
Again,
guy.
Snyder Cut Justice League actually isn't bad. You just gotta have
No, I
3
liked it a
hours
lot.
to watch.
It's probably
it.
one of the
Slut.
best DCEU movies.
Fuck, it is, and it sucks that it went into nothing for nothing. Like
Yeah.
there was no world for them to build off of, which
Yeah,
again
I'm more of
leads
the,
me to
James
this one
Gunn DCU
not being excited
guy.
for this shit.
You're gonna have to- you're gonna have to wait.
Kind of shit.
Yeah,
Let's look at the movie, but I want to talk about that after the DC James Gunn.
Yeah. So I guess the next part would be them going to recruit Bruce Wayne. Michael Keaton. I like that part a lot, actually. That's probably one of my favorite parts
how
of the
did
movie.
we feel about them straying away and it being Bruce Wayne and not Thomas Wayne?
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either. I kind of wanted
That
the
was
gun-toting Batman.
indifferent.
Yeah. Me
Well,
too.
I feel like they did it, Brian, to try to like for fan service. Like when they showed like Bruce's
They coulda
Batcave, right?
still
Like, it's from the
fucking-
movies, from Michael Keaton's movies, like all that stuff. So
And we had that debate too when we walked out of the theater. Is this supposed to be Michael Keaton's world that we watched 2 movies in, or is this just a random other world that had
see,
Michael
and I
Keaton
think they're
as Batman?
saying. I feel like they're saying it is almost.
See,
I
that's
don't know.
that's
I mean,
what I felt
from
like.
all the shit in the Batcave, I feel like they're saying it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But again,
I feel like it's a different universe, man.
even at that point, shake
Maybe.
it up, make it a different universe. Use Michael Keaton, but instead of Michael Keaton playing like Bruce Wayne, just make him Thomas Wayne. He's already older. Like fuck, we were there. They just
Yeah.
had to switch the name. And
Yeah.
do
Well,
a
and then
little
too-
bit more writing, just a little bit more writing.
In Flashpoint too, the reason I'm upset that it's not Thomas Wayne is because Thomas Wayne ends up writing a letter to Batman, Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when Flash goes back to his universe, he gives Bruce the letter from his dad, and it's like the most touching shit ever.
Yep.
Like, it'll get you
Yeah.
to cry. And obviously that's not a thing in this movie because he's
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne, not Thomas Wayne. So that's what I didn't like. They missed something big there.
And like I get it, because again, and really it's the Thomas Wayne part that I really missed out on. What I didn't want to see was Bruce's mom becoming Joker. I didn't really care about that. I feel like that would have
well, and
focused
Thomas
too
Wayne
much on
kills
other
people
stuff.
and he fucks them up.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Boy, he's violent.
He's
Dude.
slinging
Yeah.
guns.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's Batman was shooting people with the Batmobile at the beginning of the
That's
movie.
true.
Yeah, but that's Batman. He doesn't kill. That's his whole thing.
Oh, you shoot him
Yeah.
with fucking
I don't know.
bullets,
I
killing
think
someone.
there is a count out there that Batfleck did the most killing out of all Batmans on screen.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Someone,
Yeah,
someone get
but-
a count for us.
Well, in Batman v Superman, he kills a ton of
I
people.
was gonna say Batman v Superman. He kills a shit ton of people.
Yeah, he does not care.
Martha.
Why did
No,
you say
yeah,
that
so-
name?
Did you guys like, now that we're on the Michael Keaton stuff, did you guys like him as Batman? Because I think he probably was one of my favorite characters in the movie. I like Supergirl a lot too. But
So
Personally,
the
I
way that
liked
they
him.
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say I liked him better in Birdman, but go ahead.
it
Oh,
was
I
good.
know
I'm with
you're
you on
lying.
But no, I mean you can tell like when they get into that entire scene, like they're hiding his face, and it's like imagine how much
Yeah.
better it would have been as a reveal if they never put him in the trailer. I feel like
Yeah.
I watched this entire movie in the trailer alone.
Again,
Besides
and
like the
this is
chrono
something.
wall or whatever you
This
said.
is something we're probably going to talk about at the end, but all that fuck shit Ezra Miller was doing, They had to do something so that
yeah,
way
it makes
people
sense.
would get their ass in seats. Because
And that goes with
nobody
the same thing as all those celebrities and high ups, like saying, "Oh, it's the best movie ever."
Exactly.
Like,
That's what
they
I
had
said.
to
That's what I said
save
earlier.
their
Someone was
asses.
paying somebody, so
Yeah,
that way everyone
100%.
would forget about what
I think-
Ezra did.
I think I seen Tom Cruise say this was like one of the best.
Yeah, it was him.
superhero.
What the fuck
It
does
is.
he know? He probably
Fucking-
never even seen
but
the
Ron-
movie.
Ronaldo
But
took his whole
apparently,
fucking
apparently he's like in talks with DC for a potential role.
He's old as
An
shit.
older-
Get him out of here. Give me someone new.
An older Green Lantern. Older Green Lantern.
Ah,
popped off,
jeez.
but
Jesus Christ, James
Fuck
Gunn.
no.
What are we doing?
Let's get him in another Top Gun.
It's a rumor though. So
No, but that's what I like. I mean, I'm not going to get on a tangent on this, but the fact that that kid from Cobra Kai is going to be Blue Beetle, like, that's sick.
Mhm.
He's young and he's got fucking
I
shit
saw
ton
the
of potential.
trailer for that movie.
Looks sick.
Count me out of that review. I think it looks horrible.
It comes out. It comes
Dude,
out.
it's actually
August.
going to be fun, I think.
I'll go
George
see it.
Lopez is in it.
yeah, that's
Zero.
what I'm saying.
Zero.
I'll go
The
see it
first
because I
zero
get
on
some
Small Guys.
representation. But other than that,
Yeah, right?
it's about damn time.
Jesus,
Um,
man.
Yeah, so there was a moment, and this is what I didn't like. I mean, obviously, this is a little nitpicky, but when Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton, like is standing up on that thing, and he goes, "I am Batman," and like then later on in the movie, he stands in the same position with the same costume, in the same spot,
Wanna
and
get
says,
nuts?
"You want to you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts." It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you don't have to do it like twice. Like once is enough. Like. Or do them back to back. Don't do it like in a different part of the movie in the same
It
exact
felt,
spot with
it
the same
felt
exact outfit.
cheesy.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what am I watching? So it's like there's
Well, that
moments
entire-
like that.
That entire scene when they're in the Batcave and he doesn't even give a shit. He's just watching them from up top. Like, one, they didn't even, like, introduce themselves, like, formally, you know? Like, they just had that talk in the kitchen, and that was it. And then
Yeah.
they go their
Yeah.
separate ways. They get to the basement somehow in the Batcave, and he doesn't even want anything to do with it. So, like,
Yeah.
oh, no, Batman's not going to go down there and join them.
But
Of course
Yeah.
he is.
remember, this is kind of a Batman that's like pretty much like done with everything. Like he's
Yeah, no, he
retired
said
from
Gotham's
Gotham,
a good
like,
place.
Yeah, it's no
Yeah.
violence, stuff like that. So like, he doesn't give a fuck. Like he's literally, you've seen him. He's eating spaghetti and getting drunk on wine. Like that's who his Batman is.
That's
before.
my Batman.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my Batman.
What did you guys think of the Russian heist where they go save Supergirl?
It was
I like
cool
that
to
part.
see. It was cool to see another version of the Black Widow movie.
I was
No,
getting Stranger
I'm-
Things vibes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
was
was
getting
gonna
Stranger Things vibes.
Stranger Things.
I didn't care for that at
I
all.
was
It
getting
felt-
Chronicle vibes.
It
A
just
full
felt
good movie.
I don't know. Maybe I
Yeah,
just
you know what?
checked
Do
out
the
yourself,
Batman
do,
action
do
scenes?
yourself a favor. If you're watching this, turn it off. Go watch Chronicle. Come back to it.
If you're listening to this review, I myself didn't like it. I don't even like the review.
Yeah.
Turn off the review.
You didn't like
to one of our-
Chronicle?
Listen to one of our other episodes.
Chronicles gas. That's a good movie.
Yeah, but I mean, then we get. I kind of liked how we saw Batman's fist go up, and then drop down, and she's just in the sky. Thought that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I thought she did a pretty good job. I mean, she didn't have many lines, but
She was
I mean,
cool.
she's just a badass, basically.
Oh, before we get past it though, that Russian scene came the most badass shot from the movie, which is when the fucking Batwing was lined up with the fucking moon.
Yes.
That shot
Yeah.
alone was
Yes.
dope
That
as
was
hell.
dope.
And I
Dude,
will
and when
say,
he comes down too,
yeah.
and gets them, like, fucks
And on
them up.
top
was
of
cool.
that, because Keaton was back, we got that OG Batman fucking song. I was so happy
Yep.
to hear that on big screen
Yeah.
again.
That was cool.
Well, I guess for the first time. I don't think we ever were alive when it was on the big screen. So,
It's 89 and 91.
yeah, we missed that one. But to hear it on the big screen
Yeah.
after years of growing up with it, that felt cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I agree.
That's
Too
why I
bad
like
it was
that
a
whole scene
shit
because,
movie.
like, being able to. Now, obviously, back then they couldn't do movement like this, but like his movement in the movie was fucking sweet. Like, I liked all the Batman scenes a lot, so that's why I like the whole prison break. You know, obviously because we have our Barry with no powers, and then we have this new Barry who barely understands his powers. He ends up getting shot. in the leg.
dude. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, so
Through
I
the
had a
knee.
question about that too. What you guys thought about that? Because earlier in the movie, when he gets shot by lightning through the chest, he heals like almost immediately. But then when he gets shot by a bullet, it takes him like 10 minutes to heal. So it's like, I don't
think
know. I
maybe
guess
he's just new to it.
You know what was funny
Maybe,
though? When he moved original Barry and he goes, "What did you do?" And he goes, "I just moved you a little bit." And he's just throwing up. He's patting him on the back. He's like,
Everywhere.
"It's all right, little buddy."
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that was funny. I like too. The other funny part in that whole segment was when Bruce asks them how much they weigh. When he's planting the bomb underneath. That was hilarious. So that made me laugh too.
He goes like, what, 180 a piece plus what? Maybe 270.
Yeah. Yeah, and then too, we see Supergirl kind of like unleash her power, first time being in the sun in probably who knows how long.
Do you think that looked good?
Cool. Now some of the CGI there, again, I mean, it's not the worst CGI we've seen.
Dude, it looked
from
like
this movie.
PS3 video game.
No, when she was
it's not as
throwing
bad as the
people
Colonel
around,
or
I
the
was
babies.
like, all right, that looks bad. But I mean, you just accept it.
It's not as bad as the
You're already
babies.
that
It
far in
looked
the
the
movie,
same.
you know it's going to be shit.
It looked like the
It should
same
get
as
better.
Like Black Adam.
CGI should have not. It should be getting better, not.
Well, it's like
the
that on
same
purpose,
and worse.
Remember?
No.
Yeah, they did it on purpose.
Oh, it's on purpose.
Remember? It's on
I'm the
purpose.
Flash. I've seen it from
with my
Flash's
job.
perspective.
Hey, I know I did shitty work, but I mean,
They're
it's
having a press conference.
part-
All right, you know what?
Hey, I know it
Part
took me
of
6
the
hours to send
Start
this
throwing
email.
ideas out. Well, the Flash moves so fast that it distorts vision. So this looks like shit. You're
Yeah.
gonna say that it.
Yeah.
We're looking at it through the Flash's eyes, but you see both Flashes and shitty CGI. So whose fucking eyes you looking at?
But
Yeah,
honestly, I did say it looked like the same as Black Adam, but after saying that, thinking about it, Black Adam, him tossing bodies look more realistic than what she was doing.
Oh yeah.
Also,
the CGI
Black
was
Adam
better.
is supposed to be like kind of ignorant. I felt like The Rock, any role The Rock is in, is hard to take serious. Like I expect bodies to be flying and it to look goofy. My expectations for this are a little bit higher. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then
I
we
mean,
get to
I
this
don't,
part.
I don't think it's that extreme, but I mean,
I thought it looked alright compared to the other segments of the movie where the CGI was really bad. This one didn't bother me as much.
hey,
So-
step up from the show, and I'm happy with that. Honestly,
I'm gonna
Definitely a step
nitpick,
up.
and I think that
That's
the one
Mike, you could do the graphics for the show in your room right now.
The one takeaway from this movie is that I felt like, I mean, it's cool seeing Batman, Supergirl, and like all that other stuff, but I think that like we didn't see a lot of the Flash. Like the most we get of Flash is when they are fighting Zod's army in the middle of the desert, and I feel like the rest of the movie before that and after that is just showing the Flash's abilities. Like you just see him running around, but you don't see him like fucking people up.
Yeah.
again,
And I feel
it's
like he should
his
be
first
taking out
solo
all those
movie.
guys.
It's his first solo movie. Why would it be anything else?
But that's gonna be his last.
Well, that's how a lot of
I'm
So,
with
I
you.
mean,
That's how a lot of origin
But you
movies
know,
are,
like
too, I
it,
feel
I,
like.
It's
I
an
guess, but they said
origin
that it
movie,
wasn't
though.
an origin story.
but it is really
In a way, it
honest.
is.
I guess,
Yeah, in a
but
way it
still,
is.
I mean, I feel
But-
like he should have got more screen time, and they could have reduced Batman a little bit, and they could have Supergirl a little bit as well.
Well, see,
Listen,
I
dude.
think Supergirl didn't get enough screen time because I like the character
Yeah,
a
she
lot.
could've
But
got
like
more.
all she did was try to fight a bunch of people. I feel like they didn't give
Which
her
is basically
many
what Henry
scenes, and I
Cavill
wish
did in fucking Man of
Yeah.
Steel, let's be honest.
that's not
Yeah.
true.
Henry Cavill pulls up and just gets
This
his
is
ass
dad.
beat the whole
Pretty
time.
emotional. Yeah, so we get to see our Barry Allen kind of get hooked up to that chair. Now that's from Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah.
I liked that they did that. What did you think, Mike?
I like that. Again,
Okay.
I think I'm with you and Brian, man. Like the only thing I wanted to see was Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne, and that
Yep.
would have been
Yeah.
a pretty damn good live screen adaptation,
Mhm.
similar to Flashpoint Paradox, obviously.
Yeah,
And even
Yeah.
this comes later, but the only other thing from Flashpoint I kind of wanted to see was government agent Cyborg, but like without Cyborg being
Yeah.
like a part
Yeah.
of the team, you know?
Ray,
Like how-
he is done. He is
Yeah.
done with that role.
Yeah, that kind of
well,
sucks.
and we didn't get to
he's
see like the
just
Wonder
sick of
Woman versus Aquaman like war and all that shit.
Yeah,
Remember
but
that?
again, that's like a whole subplot, so I understand why they didn't.
Yeah.
Well,
Would've
that
been
would have
cool,
been
though.
one where they could have just slid in, like if Barry Allen was riding by at the end, but he's like, "Oh shit, like that's Cyborg." Like he's on the battlefield right
Yeah.
now. That'd be cool.
I just don't get how you have that good of like a script in a movie and you just don't put it on the live screen. You don't think that would do well compared to something like this? Like you have to go a little bit different. Like you have something good. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, I guess we could talk about kind of like the final act, I guess you could say, where they're in the desert. I feel like there's a lot of CGI moments that were kind of iffy, like I mentioned earlier. What did you guys think of that? Is that your favorite part of the movie? Did you guys
think-
not like the third act?
I'll start because I think I liked that part the best, actually, even though it was the most cookie cutter climatic thing that you get. You know, you throw the rock music in, the superheroes are about to kick ass. The difference was, wait a minute, the superheroes aren't winning all the time, which is what I liked. It made it a little bit different, and you know, kind of made me peek up in my seat and pay attention for the end of this movie. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, I think everyone that goes to one of these movies, even if it is like cookie cutter, like I'm saying, when you get that final scene with the rock music and the superheroes are teaming up and they're gonna do some cool move you haven't seen, you're still interested. You're still like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. So I would say, as a kind of a hater of this movie,
'cause it's
I like
about
the
to end.
third act the best.
Yeah.
Just because because like I said, it kind of, as you watch it, it's a I can get out. No, because it's a little bit different. You know, I thought they were going to kind of do a Doctor Strange-esque thing where they were going to just keep going back in time every time, like 50, but they kind of, you get to see that quickly with, you know, the other version of Barry.
I think
trying
that
to-
scene would have been a lot better if we would have seen them go back
did.
and back in like Batman and Superwoman or dying multiple different times, like, you know, different ways. I feel like that would have been like, wow, this is actually kind of dark.
They literally did that.
Yeah, they showed it with Supergirl getting like stabbed a bunch
They
of
only
different
died.
times. And...
Yeah, she did, but I'm saying Batman only died twice that we saw.
They literally did it the way you said you wanted it. Like, they died different times,
know.
multiple times.
I love
Yeah,
when
that
they
was
More
in that
instead of twice.
Yeah, and that was in that arena kind of in the Speed Force. I think Aiden's saying like if they replayed the scene like fully now.
Like they don't have to
movie
play
would
it out fully. They just show like, oh fuck, like we
Yeah.
see in the shitty CGI that Superwoman's getting stabbed a bunch of times.
Oh, and the
regardless.
Speed
part
Force
was when they
shitty
kept saying,
CGI.
"Stop going back in time. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts." You selfish asshole. You can't stop the inevitability.
I think, I
Yeah.
mean, just before, I think my favorite scene of this entire movie is when they're in the apartment and trying to find Batman, and his friends like got Marty McFly tattoo on his thigh, like shit like that. That was cracking me up, man.
And that it wasn't.
Yeah, the Eric Stokes thing.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, Aaron
That
Stokes.
was funny. Yeah, that was funny
And,
because he played
who did
the
they say
role for
played
like a week,
Kevin?
and then they got rid of him in real life. So
Oh, yeah, I'm in the actual movie.
yeah. So I thought that was
But,
cool that in this
yeah.
universe he actually did
And then
it.
what did they say that who was in Footloose?
Tom
Kevin
Cruise, I
Bacon.
think, or no,
No,
Kevin
it wasn't
Bacon was in.
Bacon.
No, Kevin Bacon's
Was he?
actually
'Cause-
in Footloose, isn't he?
No, Kevin Bacon was in Top Gun,
That's
and
what
then
it was.
yeah,
He's in Patrick Swayze's in Dirty Dancing. Dirty
yeah,
Dancing.
Patrick Swayze was in. Yeah, I don't know. They were saying
Patrick
a bunch of
Swayze's
different
actually
things.
in Dirty Dancing though in real life.
Yeah, he is.
Someone told me I look like him.
Sure,
I thought you looked like Michael B.
I
Jordan.
get Brad Pitt all the time.
I think he looks
I
like you.
I get Michael Jordan a lot.
Michael B.
Michael B.
Jordan.
Jordan.
B
Michael
Jordan.
B. Jordan. Yeah, not the basketball player. Although maybe.
Yeah, so we can talk about like the cameo fest. There's a cameo fest right during the final fight where younger Barry keeps trying to go back in time to fix it to save his universe, but it's a canon event where everyone dies.
We see the Infinity Stones in the sky, and
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Yeah, the
yeah.
different planets are just stones.
yeah,
I really
Yeah, so-
like how Spider-Verse, real quick,
kidney stones.
said canon event, because I feel like that's how I will visualize every single time traveling movie from here on out.
Because
Like,
it's canon.
That was a perfect, it was a perfect thing to name it. Like, it just
we
makes
talk
sense.
about right now, like we got the multiverse originally in like Marvel. Like I feel like that's the first time we saw it like on screen, like with these big theater or like movie companies. And
Yeah.
now I'm sick of it already. Like we haven't even
Yeah.
gotten into like the gist of it with like Marvel, but I feel like this
Technically, everything
all
Everywhere All
that,
at
like-
Once did it first. Just saying.
true, but we knew
This
that
is true.
it was coming in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
we're not done
everything's-
yet.
No,
There's
but
a
like
ton more
from
coming.
here and
We
like
need
for
a
the next
couple
2
more.
years, every movie's gonna do multiverse, like just like Mario movies doing
There's
that
going to be
shit,
like a fucking rom-com and they have a multiverse. He fell in love with
There's
a
gonna
woman
be a
from a
s-
different dimension.
Small
It's
Guys
literally gonna be like
podcast. It's gonna be,
Yeah, we'll
we're
collab
gonna,
with our
we're gonna
fucking
start the
alternate
movie
selves.
from the end and go forward.
Yeah, so
It's just like
so-
There's
I
going to
don't
be
know.
people
Me
talking about a
personally, it's
movie
played
with
out
us in
already.
it.
The
Yeah, so
movie will
the-
be talking about us
Yeah.
backwards.
I just hate that everything that we're gonna see from like here for like the next 2 to 5 years is gonna be
I agree
all
with that
multiverse.
take, Aiden.
Like,
Yeah. So the cameos we see George Reeves, Superman. We see Jay Garrick, the Flash, which we mentioned earlier.
George Reeves. You mean Christopher Reeves?
No, George Reeves. We do see Christopher Reeves too. George Reeves was the first ever Superman. Yeah, back in 1952.
Yeah, and the fucking
So we see the Jay Garrick Flash, which we mentioned earlier. We see Christopher Reeves Superman, and then next to him is Helen Slater's Supergirl. We see Adam West like very briefly, and then we see this is my favorite one, the Nicolas Cage one, with the spider. Now there is a
They just
documentary.
had Nicolas Cage stand in for that.
I don't know. There is a documentary though, and I think it's called "The Death of Superman and What Happened Behind the Scenes." Anyway, I've heard a lot of people talking about it over the last week, and it's something I really want to watch because it's really good. But it basically explains like the whole story behind it because Nicolas Cage was going to play Superman, ended up not happening. Kevin Smith was going to write it. Basically, there was like 3 notes that Kevin Smith got when writing the script for this movie was Superman can't have a cape, Superman can't fly in the movie, and in the third act he has to fight a giant spider. So Kevin Smith's like, what the fuck am I supposed to write? Yeah, so
I would that's why he backed out.
Yeah, so there's a ton of stuff, and I really want to watch the documentary because it's really good apparently, and it really breaks it down. But I liked that they showed it. The spider thing, like I guess a bunch of people were making jokes about it back then, like hearing the idea of it because it does sound stupid. But seeing it was actually pretty cool. I will say that. And then later at the end we get George Clooney. But that's kind of all the cameos that was left in the movie. We were supposed to get a lot more apparently.
We got the old, I don't know which Joker in particular it was. We got an old Joker laugh.
Yeah.
We saw a few different Batman. I don't know if that's who you just mentioned. I don't know.
Adam West. Yeah.
I think it was Jack Nicholson's Joker, maybe.
Mike,
No,
we were talking
it-
about in the theater. Mike said that Barry's friend was a TikToker. I've never seen him before in my life.
Rudy Mancuso.
Really?
Yeah, he's a TikToker. Someone should know who that is. Yeah, the
No.
Latino guy.
Is it the guy with the tattoo?
No, the Latino
it's
guy with
his
the glasses.
work buddy.
Work buddy.
Oh.
It was like the girl and the guy, and he was the guy that's
Fuck,
a
what's
TikToker.
I
his
can't
name?
believe he was
That's
letting
gonna
those.
piss me
I can't
off.
believe.
He said it was
I can't believe
Rudy.
he was letting-
What's his name in the
fucking-
show?
Oh.
It's
I have no
fucking.
idea.
It's
I
gonna
think he's
piss
just a
me off.
TikToker.
No, is it Cisco?
Cisco.
No.
Cisco.
Is it Cisco?
Yes,
I don't think it's Cisco in the
It
movie.
is-
I don't think it's Cisco in the movie.
You mean Vibe?
Oh my gosh, shut the fuck up.
I couldn't believe he's letting those two bully him like that.
Yeah, no, man.
Yeah, so what? I guess we can kind of talk about at the very end. Now, I want to say this because we mentioned it earlier. Cans, when they showed the movie, when Batman's talking to Barry on the phone after his dad is... Oh, I guess we forgot to mention the whole mom part. Let's go back.
Wait,
real quick.
we're talking about cameos.
I forgot about that
We
whole
forgot to
part.
mention the best cameo, Tamora Morris.
Who?
So anyway,
Tamora
with the
Morrison,
mom,
Boba Fett
thanks.
was in there.
Thanks, Aiden.
He was when they
Appreciate
called-
it.
Oh.
No, when he calls and he's asking around for Batman, he's asking like
Yeah.
all the Justice League people. Tamora Morrison shows up.
I did lean over to
Yeah, he's
Sanch and
Aquaman's
I
dad.
go, is that fucking
Yeah.
Boba Fett?
Yeah,
Yeah, he plays
was
Aquaman's
sick.
dad. Tom Curry, I think.
yeah, Tom Curry.
Yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
cool. That was cool. That was a cool cameo too. Yeah, so we should talk about the thing with his mom. I actually do like that part of the movie a lot because at the end of the day, like now he's responsible for his mom's death, basically. Like he's like he took the tomatoes out of her cart and he has to deal with that. I feel like that was a really emotional scene.
Him getting a hug, she like knew. That was almost like when
Yeah.
Thor saw his mom again in Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it felt
Yeah,
like to
and
me.
then he can't help himself. He ends up moving the cans up, so the dad has to look up at the camera so he's not guilty. Although I don't know why that store wouldn't have more cameras or maybe even a receipt to clear the name, or there's so many different things, or the fact that like in the show and in the comics the dad's there when the mom dies, so like blood splatter gets on him and it like makes him look more guilty. Or in this movie he's not even home, so like if you did any like blood analysis you could figure out that he wasn't the one that did it. There's a ton of
man.
things, right? So
Yeah, but when they showed the
obviously-
flashback, she had a knife in her.
And
he was
he's not
holding
even
it.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he had his
Yeah,
hand
but
on it.
again,
yeah, I
no,
guess
when he
so.
gets
his fingerprints
Yeah.
all over
the
the
DNA,
knife and shit.
the DNA wouldn't look good.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I mean, but with the receipt and the cameras, you'd think there'd be a camera on the door, by the
Alright,
cash
alright.
register.
You're making a
like
little
that. Besides
bit
one.
You're
All
making
right.
a little too much sense.
Well, it's nitpicking. It's nitpicking.
No, I think
But,
I think
It's a
fair.
movie.
He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
but what did
fuck,
you guys
how
think
did I
of?
think of that?
What did you guys think of the whole mom part at the end? I thought that was pretty
It
emotional.
was
was good,
sad.
it was
I'm glad
emotional.
we got some closure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It reminded me
Actually-
a lot of the sorry, Andrew. Reminded me a lot of the TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody watched the last half of the last season. That's when I picked back up after I stopped watching season 4. But he gets to go out with like his mom and dad, and they have pizza together, and then he gets a hug from all of them, and then obviously he lives happily ever after in the TV show. So not the case here, but it's still
That's
kind of
what
the
they
same type
do.
of
That's
closure.
how they end that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Really quick,
Pizza.
this is the episode to talk about it. I really wish they would have ended the TV show with him, like the newspaper says, like trapped pretty much in time, like disappeared.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's 1,000,000% what they should have done.
I totally
But
thought that's
again,
what they were going to build up to.
I figured that's what they were
Eric
gonna
Wallace
do.
is the real Reverse Flash in real life, bro. He fucked that show up so goddamn bad. It blows my mind.
Yeah, Mike, and were you mad? Because we're talking about the death scene of the mom. Were
Yeah.
you upset that they didn't show Reverse Flash or anything like that? Like,
No, because I know like that's such a big character, and I mean they could have like cameoed it at least at the end, where like maybe like instead of the fucking dumbass Jason Momoa like post credit scene,
Yeah.
they could have done like just like not even anybody in the suit, but just like Reverse Flash like running away from the scene or something like that. Like something cool, you know?
yeah.
I
Yeah, no,
was
I
so
agree.
confused at that point because I'm like, they built this entire movie's off of his mom obviously dying and his dad getting framed for it.
Yeah, if you didn't
But,
see
like,
the
then they
TV
just, like-
show, you would have no idea. Actually,
I mean,
just
like,
thought of
all
that.
right, maybe I was waiting for the post-credit scene to be that. Like, all right, maybe
No.
we get a little tease for it, but they just completely push it under the rug.
Well,
It's
Andrew,
also
like
the
you just,
Flash.
Andrew, like you just said too. Like if you haven't seen the show, you wouldn't know. Like when he explains what phasing is and stuff like that. Like there is moments where maybe a normal person wouldn't understand.
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
they kind of
what that is or how that works. Like he
Yeah,
explains
but
it,
in
and
the
I liked how
TV
that.
show, they got a lot of time to present that idea to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
again, season
where in the
one's him
movie-
getting his basic ass powers is the whole
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
season.
where in
And
the
there's
movie they're trying to
episodes
show
where
it like
he's-
you haven't seen the show. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which makes sense.
Which was
So,
good.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
like
I
that.
feel like us five could have legit wrote a better script.
Yeah,
I would have just taken Flashpoint characters.
I was gonna say we had
Literally.
the blueprint. We had the fucking
Yeah, literally,
blueprint,
man.
guys.
Obviously,
Yeah.
like not everything like exactly the same, which kind of contradicts my point that I said earlier. But like,
Mhm.
not make these dumbass little changes that they did. Like, I don't know, man. Just
Yeah.
don't be dumb. Like,
Yeah.
No,
So
I thought him
it,
seeing his mom at the grocery store, I thought that was good. I thought that was
Yeah.
a good, like, conclusion. But then we also get the court scene, like you mentioned. And
Yeah.
obviously, his dad gets exonerated.
And then we sent that
But
shit
then,
online, didn't we? Who was like supposed to pop up there if it wasn't gonna be George Clooney? Like it was gonna be Henry
Yeah,
Cavill and go
so
get that
let's-
in the fucking courtroom.
Yeah,
with
so
them.
it when they showed the movie at Cannes, I think it was back in April. Barry's talking to Bruce on the phone, and when the car pulls up, and it shows Bruce getting out, it doesn't show who Bruce is,
It just
and
shows
it
the
just
feet.
shows, it just shows the feet, and Barry goes, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then the movie ends.
So,
So
that
in
is
the-
a great
Yeah, that
ending.
would've been a
I
good
think
That's a
that is
great
great
ending. That's how they should have done it.
Because
But
then
this-
you're like, oh shit, is it? You have no idea who it is.
Yeah,
it's a key.
And then in this one, they redo it for the final cut.
yeah, they
They
add
do the
like
final
15
cut.
seconds.
And it's fucking George Clooney. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bat Nipples is
Probably the
Stupid.
worst. Probably the worst Batman. We can all agree on that.
back. Well, it is the worst.
Yeah. I don't
think
he's
I've ever
said
seen
it's
him.
the worst.
Yeah, it's a stinker.
Well, his movies.
But
He
then
pulls
now,
out like a
I'm saying
Batman
like the
credit
worst
card and-
Batman.
Yeah,
Yep.
Easily.
he
but
said
then
it.
now everyone thinks like I haven't seen all these Flash shows and all that. I'm assuming that this new Batman and it's not Robin, it's Batman and his son. Or
No, it's Batman and
It's
Robin. Is
James
Batman or
Gunn.
Robin.
James Gunn already went out. It's not
so that
any
George
what
Clooney's
connected.
not the
Any,
Batman.
yeah, any what connected
So
to the
just
Brave and the Bold.
fucking scrambling
so
people's brains.
This was literally
Yeah.
just
So-
them saying goodbye, dude. Like this
Fuck
this
it.
chapter is over, and I want to keep it
Yeah.
that way.
like, hey, fuck it, who wants to be in the movie? Fucking be my guest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
so
Anyone,
we-
anyone want in?
George
Again,
Clooney from
so
across the
I'm
$250
curious, though. I'm curious,
million dollars into the movie, bro. They weren't letting it go. They were like, "Fuck it, we'll let anyone
Yeah.
in on this bitch."
They should have just
I'm-
said it with
no,
George
our-
Clooney and the fucking
RD,
poster.
RDJ would have been kind of funny. I would have laughed. Actually.
That would have been better. That would have been like,
So,
all right, now you
there's-
definitely know this movie is shit.
There's 3 alternate endings. The one that we got, which was the worst one, the one that Josh said.
The
I
good
think
one.
The good no, and that's the second best one. And the third one is when Henry Cavill Gal Gadot and like two other and Michael Keaton and
Supergirl.
Supergirl show up. Why would they not
Mhm.
like? Why would they not do that one? It makes
It'd
no
be
sense.
too
That's
by the
not
way.
what the-
confusing.
He's then he's looking around. He's like, "What the fuck? They're all in
Well,
one
it's
universe. It's
better
gonna
than-
go
So,
shit."
Michael
Better
Keaton's
than-
Batman was supposed to be the Batman going forward. That's what it was going to be, because the Batgirl movie that got canceled last year, he was the Batman in that. So, like,
Mhm.
I'm happy that didn't come out, because that would have been even more confusing. They would have had to make it a prequel or something, maybe in his
I
universe.
feel
that's
bad
something.
for I think Leslie or something. I don't know who her name was.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
the girl
would have
that
known
did
it if
Batgirl.
we got the Batgirl movie, you know?
Yeah, but we didn't.
yeah. No, we didn't. But yeah, so he was supposed to be the Batman going forward. So yeah, so he's going to be the Batman at the end of this. He's going to be in other movies. I'm trying to think what else. Apparently, I think he was supposed to be maybe an Aquaman or something. Like, he was supposed to keep showing up, Michael Keaton. So, but then yeah, I guess maybe when James Gunn stepped in, they like changed things up. I don't know, but I think in my head, George Clooney coming out was like, okay, this is it. We won't see Ezra Miller as the Flash anymore. Like, you know, like obviously he's not going to be the Brave and the Bold like George Clooney. So I think they're saying like this is it. And apparently the first DCU character, because this is James Gunn's DCU, will be Blue Beetle. From what he said. So.
Really?
I mean,
Yeah, that's the first
that makes sense
DCU.
because
That's a
Blue Beetle
weird
gives
ass-
like a Peacemaker vibe, so...
But that's
Just
a
from the
weird ass
trailer
way to
alone.
introduce a new universe.
Yeah,
man.
the
Blue
only
Beetle?
character being transferred over apparently might be Aquaman, might be Wonder Woman, but Peacekeeper's confirmed to be like in James Gunn's DCU. John
Good.
Cena, like
Yeah.
that's
Good,
the only
good,
thing he's
good.
carrying over, really. So
But that's the thing, though. What about the end of Peacemaker when the whole fucking Justice League is there?
that's the thing. They got to retcon that. I don't know. That's up to James
Bro,
Gunn to handle.
no, okay, so this is what I want to talk about here.
There was...
Well, he said that Peacemaker's he's gonna fucking time travel, do some weird
yeah,
shit.
they were
And
saying
he's
that
he's
they
like
were
a
just gonna
Deadpool,
have...
basically.
Yeah, exactly. They were gonna have him be there.
Yeah.
But like, is no one seeing this? Like, is no one understanding what's happening?
And everyone likes Peacemaker too, so no one's gonna question it.
Yeah, we all want him.
Yeah.
So,
So I definitely think that they should keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I feel like I mean I don't know.
You can't
She
keep
just
any.
plays it
You
perfectly.
can't keep any of those big names, dude, because then you're attached to everything that we just witnessed.
that's
Like, you
true.
can't. You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
to.
but
cut
Brian,
it.
like we just
Like-
said, it's not a hard reboot. Like I'd say it's like a 95% reboot. You know what I mean? Like some people are still gonna.
Again,
I mean,
I don't really
one,
want
two
that,
guys,
but
that's like
fucking.
99.
But the difference is though, is like, Peacemaker was really only tied in to that because of the Justice League. Suicide Squad wasn't even really tied in with them, you know.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
that's why I think it works with him. But bringing in fucking A-list celebrities that played the Justice League, like no shot. You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
You can't do that to move forward. You know.
So that's something that I want to talk about here. I think they need 1,000,000%, 100% reboot. Like, as much as Henry Cavill as Superman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Ezra Miller did okay as a Flash, like, it's just too confusing, man. Like, just use the new Superman movie as like a full like intro to the universe like they did last time, and just start over and just not.
Well, they said they're
confuse
for
people.
sure getting a new Batman.
Yeah, they're getting a new. They should be getting a new Flash too, to be honest with you.
Dude, they're
Yeah.
forever getting new people for these goddamn movies. Like, just stick to someone for
I don't know.
fuck's
I
sake.
mean, I feel confident in James Gunn. I mean, it's not going to be like the best thing we've ever seen, but I think it's going to be entertaining.
I,
And
dude,
I think he's going to do a decent job, better than
I'm
anyone
serious, though.
in anything we've seen before. In
I'm
DC.
serious though. I think that Superman movie is going to be fucking like top tier. I have high expectations for that.
The only
and
thing
he's
I
writing
don't
it.
like about the fucking Superman movie is I'm getting a fucking play-by-play every day I open
Of
Twitter
what's happening.
of what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Do your
It's
thing,
crazy.
dude. Like, we have
He
faith
tweets
in
a lot.
you. Like, fucking go. Don't listen to these nerds.
He's not writing
We
shit if he's
have
tweeting.
faith- Exactly. We have faith
He's not
in
writing
the guy.
shit.
Technically,
because of
he
the
can't.
strike.
Yeah, he can't.
He's not
with the
writing
strike.
shit because of the strike.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe,
he's the writer.
maybe he's just drunk and
He
he's
can't.
bullshitting. He's just
Like
sending out
Ryan,
tweets.
Ryan Reynolds.
can't he
is in
write?
the- well, because if you're part of the Writers Guild, you can. So like Ryan
Because
Reynolds
then you're not
can't
standing
even
with
like.
your brothers.
I
Yeah,
guess.
Ryan Reynolds can't even improv lines for Deadpool 3, which they're filming right now because of the strike. So they have to wait. And the same with James Gunn,
they
so he can't.
Yeah, they
Yeah, but they're not even waiting. They fucking bump the movie forward.
Yeah.
Oh,
Supposed to be
yeah,
November
which
now.
doesn't make
Because
any sense.
It's been, well, Brian, it's been written already, but like, you know, like how Sonny does it, where like most of the show's just fucking improv.
And I
Like,
know, that's
obviously,
why
Ryan
I'd much
Reynolds is a
rather
pro.
have them wait. I want them to improv. The improv is usually
yeah,
the
no, I
best
agree.
shit ever.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, so, but it's
Then
crazy
again, I
that
don't
it came in
believe shit I
improv.
see on Twitter.
Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, James Gunn technically cannot write any more of it until it's over. So hopefully this strike ends soon because everything is getting canceled, and pushed back. But
Well,
yeah,
like
I
I
wanted.
said, man, I'm so fucking excited for that Superman. You have no idea.
Yeah, so this movie flopped pretty hard. It is a bust. Um,
Love to see it.
I'll read off. I'll read off the movies this year just for reference. And this is the 3-day opening weekend for domestic. Okay, ready? Mario movie made 146 million. Spider-Verse made 120. Guardians 3 made 118. Little Mermaid made 117. Fast X made 67. Transformers made 61. Flash made 55. Flash is the most expensive, one of the most expensive movies of the year, probably next to like Oppenheimer, I'm sure, or something like that. It is a bust. It's losing a lot of money. If it didn't do well in its first weekend, it's not going to do well as more movies keep coming out. I mean, we got Indiana Jones coming out. We got Oppenheimer. We got Barbie.
Transformers is still rolling.
Yeah, I told Andrew this. In theaters right now, you can go see Spider-Verse. You can go see the new Elemental Pixar movie. You can go see Mario still. You can see Guardians 3. There's so many movies out right now that, like, people might not go see Flash. Why would they?
And again,
especially
word of
with
mouth
it doing
is
so
in
bad,
house
it'll
of
probably
shit.
go to digital pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I told
I don't know,
everyone
it's a
at work that this
crazy
movie
market.
sucks. So.
I told everyone
There you go.
that
It's
like
more
wanted
tickets.
to hear about it. I was like, if you go and do it with an open mind and you're not as passionate
Yeah.
about this shit, you'll probably like it. But because I've witnessed the shit show the whole way through, I kind of walked out a little upset. It wasn't as bad as expected, but it did not
Well-
do what I thought it would do for me.
Well, I want to hear your guys' take on this, and I'm sure Andrew will agree. My brother, who's been on the podcast before, he asked me if I'd seen the movie, and I go, yeah. And he goes, I think it's the worst superhero movie I've seen this year. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't
I
know.
agree with that take.
Well, because Shazam 2 came out this year. I think I like this more than
No,
that.
I
I
didn't
like this
see
one.
that.
I Shazam too.
Yeah, so
And
I was
honestly,
like, I
it
don't
might
know.
be more fun than fucking Ant-Man.
yeah,
I
I don't
like
know.
seeing
So,
King and Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Ant-Man
so
was
I think
better
I
I
than
think this
might-
is pretty comparable to Ant-Man.
I
I think this
agree.
might
I
even
think
be
it's
a little,
right around.
I think this
bit-
is better
little
than
bit better
Thor:
than
Love and
Ant-Man.
Thunder.
a little bit better than Ant-Man in my opinion. That's just me though.
Better than
Yeah.
Thor.
yeah.
Thor didn't come out this year.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
something
no,
that we
didn't-
need to say as a disclaimer. As like the Thor scores that we originally gave when that movie was out, we say this
I think
every
they know by
superhero
now.
movie.
Even in DC movies,
Yeah,
I want-
hey,
Thor.
I want it so
Jeez.
locked in. I'm going to mention it every time because if you go and look at our scores at Thor, you may think that we were high when we saw the
Okay,
movie.
let's just change it then and stop
Yeah,
mentioning
bro.
it.
Hey,
every time.
Hey,
There's like
everybody,
four
go-
different recordings where I've dropped that fucking
Yeah.
score lower and
Hold
lower.
up, hold
I've,
up.
I've kept it.
You fucked.
You could literally put on the website original score and then do the new ones on there. 'Cause
Put an
I-
X
we
through
just,
fucking
we just
Thor:
keep
Love and
bullying
Thunder.
Thor 4.
Just
So
white it out.
bad.
Not even in
So
a Marvel movie, we're trashing it.
It's so bad because I've tried. You know what it was? It was the one day I was like, I'm gonna throw it on Disney Plus and try and give it a rewatch, and I couldn't. And I don't even think with Flash I would have that bad of an opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't like this movie, but I feel like if it happened to be on, I at least wouldn't turn it off. Or Thor,
Yeah.
I would probably rather go, all right, yeah, no, the wall looks good. All right, I think I'm gonna stare at that.
You know what? I think it's time I
Alright,
get my life
that's
together.
a crazy take, though, man. That's a crazy
You're,
take.
you're talking about it like it's the worst movie you've ever seen in
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah,
It was
bro.
pretty.
I
good
hate it.
shit.
It
Yeah.
is. You gotta think Birdman exists.
This
That's
is
not
true.
true.
There is Birdman. Well, no,
that's a good
Birdman.
movie.
If I had to watch it again, Aiden, I'd kill myself.
Oh, come on. That's a good movie. Great
Okay,
movie.
so I want to look really quick.
Good,
though.
Josh. I think it's a
Hey,
great.
Great.
Andrew gave it a 77. This is Thor: Love and Thunder. Andrew gave it a
God.
77.
You love
Josh gave it a 78. Brian gave it a 75. I gave it an 82. And Aiden gave it an 86.
Yeah, that's,
Because I love Christian Bale, man.
that's why he's defending it right now.
Yeah, he's,
I'm gonna take my
Oh,
I still thought it was better
75.
than fucking.
Take my 75, subtract about 50 from it, and then I think we're right around where I would give it now.
Here's the thing. I still like it was still like
Let's
a
divide mine by
entertaining,
fucking
fun
3.
watch. I would still give it like a high 60, low 70. That's just me. I don't think it's
Yeah.
that bad of a
This
movie.
guy's
like,
smoking
I think
penis.
I think it's a 40-50 movie, Mike.
I think
Rethinking
that's just
about it.
a bad
Also-
take.
It might be criminal. It might be
Since
criminal.
we're
fake.
talking Marvel briefly, I did see some comparisons online. I want to hear you guys' take on this. Some people were comparing this to No Way Home in the fact of like the multiverse and bringing characters we've seen play the characters before back.
No, that movie is way better.
This is
It
more
is way better, but do you guys see that comparison at all or no?
No.
This is more comparable.
Yes,
to,
100%.
Multiverse
You
of
can
Madness.
see the comparison. No, no.
Is it a
No,
fair
you
comparison? Is what
fucking-
I'm saying though.
No, this is most comparable to No Way Home over Multiverse of Madness. Are you fucking high?
Wow, you
No,
see three. You see
yeah,
three
I kinda
Spider-Man.
I get Mike's
who
take,
play the
Congrats,
role.
dude.
actually.
You see fucking 6 different multiverses in this movie.
You
Same
see
thing with
old
Doctor
Batmans
Strange.
come back. You see old Spider-Mans come back. I could see it kind of.
Yeah, but dude,
I
it's
could
a
see
lazy
Mike's
comparison. It's a lazy comparison.
Multiverse of Madness as well, to be honest.
That's true. Yeah. So, but yeah, to bring it back to the movie, yeah, it's a bust. You know, I feel like there's kind of no more to talk about. I mean, we talked about, you know, what the director said about the CGI. You know, what we think the
What a
future
lazy
of the.
excuse.
Yeah, we don't think Ezra Miller will be back as the Flash. I think we can all agree on that.
I hope he doesn't.
I don't know. It's crazy because a couple weeks ago, I'll be honest, because I guess we have talked about this already, but like the hype, I think I got tricked by the hype. I'll be honest. I was excited. I was like, yeah, we get Spider-Verse, and then 2 weeks later we get the Flash. Like, you know, I didn't go in thinking it was going to be the best superhero movie ever, but compared to DCEU, I thought, I'm like, it'll probably be one of the better ones. And it kind of wasn't for me. But I fell for the hype for sure, and I don't know if you guys
Brian,
were
have
convinced
you
by
watched
it at all or
every?
no.
Have you watched every DCEU movie?
I've watched a
DCEU.
handful of them.
Yeah, DCEU.
About-
DCEU. Sorry.
Wait, is that
Very
like the non-animated ones?
All
Like,
the Zack Snyder's.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, I've watched
non-animated.
all of it.
So, what ones would you rather watch than the Flash?
Then the Flash. Honestly, this made
Yeah.
me appreciate Batman vs Superman.
No, this
Okay.
is better than that.
And
That's
then
fair, but
Justice League Snyder Cut. Obviously, that's the number one that came from the shit show.
would you rather watch this or Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman was better than
Wonder
this.
Woman.
The
Second
first one, not
one-
the second,
second one was
Yeah,
dog
second one's
shit.
worse.
Both
Yep.
Aquaman were dog shit.
I'd rather watch Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
There's only one right now.
Man of Steel was kind of
The second one
ass.
didn't come out yet.
Oh, it didn't even
I'll
come
take-
out
I'll
yet.
take-
Steel's better. Yeah.
Yeah, give me
Second
Man of
one's not
Steel.
out yet.
Give
Man of
me
Steel's
honestly both Justice Leagues. I don't even care. I'd rather
No,
watch those.
2018 one sucked.
I'd rather watch those compared to this. Give me Wonder Woman, and I'd rather watch this than Aquaman. To be honest with you, I don't know how the fuck
James
they
Gunn's
made it.
Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
I'd
about
rather
that. That's
watch-
number one. That's number one. Then Snyder Cut.
I'd rather
Justice
watch that
Brian,
for sure.
did you watch Birds of Prey?
That
That movie wasn't that bad.
I watched
actually.
half of it after a bar night, so I don't really remember all of it.
I would argue that movie's better than this.
No,
I'll take your word on it. I mean,
I
it's
watched
smart.
that.
It's Margaret Robbie, so like
You're a
I
Harley
do
Quinn
have faith.
fan.
I am. Also, the Harley
So-
Quinn TV show is way more enjoyable than anything that they fucking gave us.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay,
Quit
give
trying
me
to
time.
silence me. It's a good fucking show, and you fucking know it,
I did see a clip, Brian, the other day. It
dude.
was
It's
pretty funny.
fucking amazing.
All right, make sure to cut
right, you guys wanna
Brian
get-
at a minute and
Yeah, we're gonna cut that
hour
out.
9.
No one can know
Yep.
about your feelings
You
with that
fuckers.
shit. Do you guys want to
Make
get
sure
into
you're
scores?
censored.
Let's get into
Yeah,
it.
Josh, lead us off here. You know, you were
Okay.
excited for this movie.
I
You
was
know,
excited.
You
I
bought
fell
all
for
of
the
our
hype.
tickets. You were like, "Come on, guys, we can hold hands and go
Yeah.
together, small
Please,
guys."
I'll pay you guys to see this with me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
lead us off here. Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I want to open it up by saying it is better than Transformers.
You didn't even
I
watch
Didn't see
Transformers.
Transformers, so that's
Next.
invalid.
Yeah, but I'm confident it's probably better.
That's an ignorant take by
Stupid
someone that was
idiot.
not on the review, so Josh is invalid. All right, Brian, you want to start us off?
Oh shit! Yeah, I'll start us off. All right, so it's a movie. You know, it's definitely a movie. It's got that plot point,
Yep.
and then they go
Yep,
in
it is
time
that.
and they come back because they fucked it up. It's Flashpoint, that's for sure. Yeah, you know, I really was hoping we wouldn't get a repeat of the TV version of Flashpoint, but lo and behold, we got that in a 2-hour, 20-minute extended cut version. But this time, we got good old Michael Keaton. So you're like, all right, maybe you got me. Again, if you go in this movie, you turn your brain off, and you're not passionate about any of this, you're probably going to have at least some fun with it and be like, oh, it's not so bad. Maybe give it an 86. Cheap. But if you're like us, if we've been around and we've watched all of these and we care, and especially like me, Josh, and Mikey for sure, who have seen the animated Flashpoint show, and then me watching up to season 4 and them actually finishing the goddamn show, like there's that extra layer to it to where this needed to be something more almost, you know? without putting too much pressure on it, because again, we know they can't do everything that we saw in the animated movie. But this just isn't good, dude. Like, the CGI isn't the best. Ezra Miller, I will say, didn't do a terrible job. I enjoyed seeing them on screen. It did get a little annoying with two of them, but it is what it is. Like, it made for a good plot. Him getting his powers back was cool. Michael Keaton not being Thomas Wayne, again, big gripe that I didn't like. But when it comes down to it, when I give this thing a score, I know I enjoyed it more than Black Adam. And Black Adam was, what, a 58, I think is what Josh told me earlier, is what I gave it. So I'll give this movie a solid 63. 63 is the highest I'll go on it. Maybe I'll rewatch it one day. Probably not, but maybe. And, yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about it, though, but that scene before the desert and they fly in looks like a video game, like, cutscene. Like, it's about to, like, hey, now the player has control, and then they take off running, and you're like, all right, this looks like dog shit. But again, it is what it is. Can't expect too much. 63.
So, I can go next. Me not being an avid DCEU watcher, haven't seen any of the Aquamans, haven't seen the
Just the
second
one.
Wonder Woman.
What have you seen?
There's just one.
Yeah.
I've only seen Batman vs Superman. Can't say that I've seen Snyder Cut. I've seen Man of Steel, and obviously James Gunn's Suicide Squad and the original Suicide Squad, the dog shit one that I just erased from my memory. But no, I mean, I thought that this was enjoyable. I would never rewatch this movie ever in my life. But I thought that it was funny. I thought that it was like I said, when they're looking for Batman and like the Justice League in that apartment, I thought that was one of the funniest parts of that movie. I liked how the Flash was one person played two parts, and it felt opposite. Like, you know, or not even opposite, but two different actors. Like, even with just the haircut was the only difference of it. But I thought that he did a good job. They did a good job. But no, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought that the fight scenes, obviously, like Bob mentioned, were cheesy as fuck. Like you said, PS3 cutscene, PS2. Honestly, I think PS3's pushing it a little, giving it a little bit of praise there. But
It's PS3.
yeah, I mean, I did like Michael Keaton coming back. George Clooney was ridiculous, and I thought that learning more about the story on Nicolas Cage's Superman, I thought that was pretty cool. But it was just like a send off that, like, they felt bad for everyone in it. Like, I feel like Batwoman or Batgirl should have been in it, just like giving her like, hey, you know what? We pulled
Ruby
your movie from you.
Rose?
Yeah, or whoever it is. That sounds like a porn star name.
No, she played.
She was,
played
she was in Orange New Black, too.
No,
Yeah.
she played
Yeah,
the
she was in that too.
I mean, yeah.
Season
But
one.
I'm
played
glad that
Batgirl.
it's cool that like the Flash originated from SpongeBob, obviously. So I think they're doing a pretty good job, and it sucks that Ezra Miller won't be coming back. But yeah, I got a lot of confidence in James Gunn in this new DCEU reboot. So
DC, it's just a DCU now. So
DC,
They dropped the E.
yeah. Shout out SpongeBob.
What score did
What's
you
your
give
score?
that? Yeah.
Oh shit! See, this is the first time I forget about giving a
You
score.
started talking
This
about
movie is
SpongeBob.
fucking.
You did this in another episode because I had to listen back for a score, and I forget
I
what
feel
it was.
confident
though.
giving this a 58. 58 out of 100.
Nice.
Damn.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
well, not fond of it.
All right, I'll go. No, Josh, you go. I wanna blanket it.
Okay.
You know, want to soften the blow here.
Yeah, no,
Let
that's fine.
Mike finish us
Let's
off.
give it a good 20.
Okay. I don't think the movie's bad. It probably is in the top half of the DCEU movies. I'm a sucker for the Flash character, though. He probably is, like, next to Batman, is my favorite, like, DC character, I'd say. Obviously, I was a big fan of the show at one point. The movie's comedy is a little hit or miss. Like, sometimes they kind of just announce things that are happening as a joke. Like, Barry will be sitting there and he's like, "Oh my god, the building is falling. Like, look at that." And I'm like, I don't know if that's supposed to be played as a joke. But then there's funny scenes too. Like, obviously his run is riduous. It looks kind of stupid.
Dude, that's
It looks
the
like
worst thing ever.
It looks like he's running
I
in
don't know how
water
we're
or
just not
something like
mentioning
that.
that.
Like, yeah, so like I like the joke where they're in the museum or whatever, and he doesn't have his speed anymore, and he's running around. I thought that was funny. That
That was
kind of
funny.
That's how it looks.
Yeah, because that's how
Yeah.
it looks when they're recording it too. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. So, and then there's the part where like when the babies are falling, and it looks like he's going to grab one of the babies, but instead he breaks the vending machine so he grabs snacks. Like there is funny parts of the movie which I liked. I mean, if you go off like all the other DCEU movies, this one probably is one of the funniest next to like Shazam. But I did enjoy, certain aspects of the movie. But like we mentioned, the CGI is a little iffy. The plot can kind of go off. It's a little long, like we mentioned, and then there's the cameo fest where they want people to get excited. But I did like the heartfelt moments with the mom, especially at the end. It felt powerful. So I definitely probably would rewatch this movie in the future. But by no means this is the best. That's crazy, and I'm upset with myself that I fell for the hype. So I'm going to give it a 74. I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's not a pretty good movie. I don't know if I wouldn't go around telling people to go watch it, but I'd probably rewatch it. I probably will when it comes to Max.
Gotcha. I'll go next,
Max
and we'll let.
now, not HBO.
We'll,
Yeah,
we'll
you let me
let-
know when you rewatch it, Josh. So.
Yeah, I'll go next, and I want Mike to finish us off because I feel like he'll have a little bit more of a positive score than I will. Just because, I mean, I've kind of said it throughout this review. Maybe I'm falling off from superhero movies, and this might be a good spot to do it because this movie wasn't good. And the CGI was bad, and the jokes were cheesy. And they had the team up scene that you need in every movie. You've got the rock music at the end for the final battle. I mean, there's got to be in Hollywood, like, if you're making a superhero movie, they're like, all right, you got the checklist? Okay, we'll run through, make sure we've got everything.
It's like a pre-made movie already. Just fill in the script and the blanks. It's like
it's a PowerPoint presentation where you just go through and Hollywood just like, all right, that looks great, perfect. We've only seen
they don't
this
even
14.
watch it before they drop it either. They're like,
We've
"All
only
right,
seen
it's
this
done."
14 times. This is gonna make a ton of money. We love it. So maybe I'm falling off that train, and that might be sort of why I didn't like it as much. But also, I feel like the no Grant Gustin kind of thing, absolute miss. And I didn't even love the TV show that much, but I think I watched 5 seasons of it before I really fell off. And just not even having a cameo when you had your whole another box check with all new superhero movies, you need to have a cameo area. And you don't have the goddamn Flash from 9 seasons in the TV show? I mean, come on. That makes no sense to me.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, so that actually really did disappoint me throughout the movie. Other than that, I mean, yeah, it did have its funny moments. It had its laughable moments where I chuckled. So I don't want to dog it too hard. I'm going to give it a 51. Would I rewatch it? No, I would not rewatch it. Is it the worst thing I've seen, like we were talking about? No, that the contenders for that are Birdman and Thor: Love and Thunder.
Good jab.
But I'm confident with a 51 for this movie. And I'll let Mike kind of say his piece and finish us off here.
All right, man. So yeah, that's honestly my biggest grief with this movie. You just touched on it, but Grant Gustin not being in this movie is just mind-boggling to me. Especially after Ezra Miller was in Crisis a couple years ago and made a cameo, it just does not make sense to me. And that's something I will never wrap my head around. And shame on DC for not making that happen. But honestly, man, I've never been a fan of Ezra Miller as the Flash, to be honest with you. I don't think his run is good. I don't think his acting's okay, but I don't think he plays a good Barry Allen, to be honest with you. And he plays an even worse Flash, if I'm being completely honest. But and that's just me kind of showing hate towards they. But I think Sasha Cale is her name. She plays Supergirl. I think she did a really good job. And I know there's talks with her about her possible future in the DCU with James Gunn. So I'm hoping that at the bare minimum she can be like a multiverse character, because I'm sure they'll probably recast Supergirl as the typical whitewashed blonde Supergirl, if we're being honest here. really cool to see Ben Affleck get his closure at the beginning of the movie. Always good to see my favorite celebrity crush, Gal Gadot, as well. She is absolutely gorgeous, and she is Wonder Woman. The plot was pretty basic and pretty, like Andrew said, just checklisty. You know, do you have a team up, rock music, all this stuff? Yeah, that was pretty much this movie. And if you weren't like a huge DC fan, and honestly, if the cameos weren't in this movie, I'd be completely shitting on this movie if we're being honest here. But the cameos are really what saved everything that this movie had. So, I didn't really like Michael Keaton coming back. To be honest with you, I think it was kind of like a little iffy. Yeah, it was cool to see him like suit up one more time, but I don't think he added like any substance. And it really was a big miss for him not coming back as Thomas Wayne. So there's that, obviously. And then we have Nicolas Cage as Superman, which I seen rumors and comments on Instagram about, but I didn't think were true. And the fact that actually happened, I was really happy that it did. So that was super cool to see, and that caught me off guard. But I was spoiled George Clooney. I was looking
Hey,
through...
fuck you too, because I'm sitting next to you in the theater, and I don't know if it was the Nicolas Cage scene. He's like, "Wait, watch this part." I'm like, "What do you mean, man? Like, what the fuck's gonna happen?" And I see him. I'm like, "Oh, well, something cool is happening now," but I'm not even fucking excited because I'm
What do
watching.
you mean? Oh, shut up, dude. Whatever. But yeah, no, I think I was spoiled George Clooney coming back, and I really could care less. I don't
How
think
did
he's...
you believe that shit though?
Because, like, I mean, like, it's pretty, like, anything can happen in this type of movie.
Yeah,
you
Michael
know?
Keaton's back.
Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't touch Christian Bale, man. That's the one thing that I think is completely off limits that no one should ever touch again, that whole trilogy, and they did it right by not touching it.
Or Patterson too, thank God.
Oh yeah, or Pattinson, yeah. but yeah, man, it's just I really do think that Us 5 can make a better Flash movie. And I really wholeheartedly believe that just myself, I can think of just like a better plot and a better basis to go off of. And I'm sure the studio probably like limits your creativity a little bit and puts characters off limits like Reverse Flash and such. But I don't know, man. Like I was just disappointed, like you, Josh. I was, I bought into the hype and I bit my tongue on that. Definitely nowhere near the greatest superhero movie of all time, and probably not even the best. It's probably close to the worst superhero movie this year.
This was your most anticipated movie, right?
One
of them?
But behind Spider-Verse, yeah. I was really hoping this movie would be good, but it just wasn't that great. But I'm going to give it a 71 out of 100. Even though I feel like I just shit on that movie. That's just kind of me being like not a DC fanatic, but just like having a little bit more thought and care for just the universe itself and just the characters.
I think that was a good take, Mike.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. Yeah, it's a little disappointed, like I said, but still kept me entertained. Some highlights that I can definitely kind of latch on and just hopefully just kind of like emphasize when I'm thinking about this movie. But there's just so many misses, and I didn't even talk about the CGI, but we all talked about that. So.
Are you nervous about Andy Muschietti doing the Brave and the Bold?
Really nervous now.
Yeah.
Really nervous, and I'm hoping that he redeems himself. But again, like I said, Superman, I think I'm anticipating that over like Deadpool 3. Like that is my next movie where I'm like,
it's a take
locked on sight. That's just me.
Wow. Well, yeah, that was our Flash review. This one was a little longer. Anyway, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time.
All right, good night. Love you guys.
Peace out.
See you, boys.
See you guys.
Too.